It was a calm, uneventful morning in the small coastal town of Seabrook. The sun rose gently over the horizon, casting golden light across the sleepy streets. Birds chirped lazily, and the distant sound of waves crashing against the shore filled the air. For most people, it seemed like any other day. Children walked to school, shopkeepers unlocked their stores, and fishermen prepared their boats for another day at sea. But deep in space, something extraordinary was about to happen, something that would change life on Earth forever. At the local observatory perched on a hill overlooking the town, Dr. Samantha Hayes adjusted her telescope. She was one of the few professional astronomers left in the area, working tirelessly to map star systems and track celestial phenomena. Today, however, she noticed something unusual. A faint, shimmering ripple appeared in the sky, almost like heat waves rising from hot asphalt. At first, she thought it might be an equipment malfunction, or perhaps some odd atmospheric condition caused by recent solar activity. But as she zoomed in closer, the anomaly grew more pronounced. It wasn't just a distortion. It looked alive, pulsating rhythmically as though breathing. Curious, Dr. Hayes called her colleague, Mark Thompson, who was analyzing satellite data in the control room below. "Mark, come take a look at this," she said, her voice tinged with excitement. When he arrived, his eyes widened at what he saw through the lens. "What is that? Some kind of aurora?" he asked, scratching his head. Neither of them had ever encountered anything like it before. They decided to record everything they could, hoping to make sense of the strange phenomenon later. Meanwhile, halfway around the world in Tokyo, pilots flying commercial jets reported seeing eerie lights flickering high above the clouds. Passengers snapped photos and videos, sharing them online within minutes. Social media platforms quickly lit up with speculation. Was it a new military experiment? A secret government project? Or maybe aliens? People joked about little green men and UFOs, but beneath the humor lay a growing sense of unease. Something big was happening, and no one knew exactly what it was. Back in Seabrook, the ripple in the sky began to expand. What started as a tiny shimmer now stretched across the heavens, glowing faintly blue and silver. It reminded Dr. Hayes of oil spreading across water, except this was happening miles above the Earth's surface. Suddenly, without warning, the rippling stopped. The entire sky seemed to freeze, suspended in time. Then slowly, cracks began to form, not in the literal sense, but visually. Dark lines spread outward like fractures in glass, revealing glimpses of something behind them. Something massive. Dr. Hayes gasped, clutching the edge of her desk for support. Through the cracks, enormous shapes loomed into view. They were ships, gigantic, otherworldly vessels unlike anything humanity had ever imagined. Their designs defied logic, blending sleek metallic surfaces with organic curves that seemed to pulse with energy. Some resembled jagged mountains floating in space, while others looked like living creatures, their hulls adorned with intricate patterns that shifted and changed as if alive. These weren't mere machines. They were works of art, terrifying in their complexity and scale. News of the sighting spread rapidly. Within hours, reports flooded in from every corner of the globe. Cities froze as millions gazed upward, watching in stunned silence as the alien fleet revealed itself piece by piece. Governments scrambled to respond, convening emergency meetings, and deploying military forces to monitor the situation. Fighter jets soared into the skies, circling the mysterious ships cautiously. Yet despite the show of force, the alien vessels remained eerily still, hovering silently as if waiting for something or someone to act. As the initial shock wore off, fear began to creep in. People huddled together in homes and public spaces, glued to their televisions and phones for updates. Conspiracy theories ran rampant. Some claimed the aliens had come to enslave humanity, while others believed they were here to save Earth from impending doom. Religious leaders preached sermons about Judgment Day, and scientists debated whether the ships posed a threat or merely sought peaceful contact. No one had answers, only questions, and plenty of them. In Washington, D.C., President Eleanor Grayson addressed the nation in a televised broadcast. Standing tall behind a podium flanked by military advisors, she spoke with calm authority. Citizens of Earth, we are facing a moment unlike any other in human history. While we do not yet know the intentions of these visitors, I assure you that our government is taking every possible measure to ensure your safety. We will not engage unless provoked, but rest assured, we are prepared to defend our planet if necessary. Her words offered little comfort to those staring anxiously at the sky. Despite the uncertainty, some individuals embraced the event with curiosity rather than dread. Among them was Alex Rivera, a young astrophysics student living in Chicago. An avid stargazer since childhood, Alex couldn't contain his excitement when he first heard the news. Grabbing his telescope and laptop, he rushed to the rooftop of his apartment building to get a better view. As he adjusted the lens, he marveled at the sheer size of the alien ships. One vessel alone spanned several city blocks, its shadow blotting outstars as it drifted overhead. "Do you think they're friendly?" asked Mia Chen, Alex's best friend, who had joined him on the roof. She clutched a thermos of coffee tightly, her knuckles white with tension. Alex shrugged, unable to tear his gaze away from the spectacle. "Who knows, but honestly, I don't think they'd go through all this trouble just to say hello. Whatever they want, it's important." While Alex and Mia speculated, others took matters into their own hands. In rural Montana, a group of amateur radio enthusiasts attempted to communicate with the aliens using Morse code and binary signals. Elsewhere, protesters gathered outside government buildings demanding transparency and answers. Fear turned to anger as rumors circulated about cover-ups and hidden agendas. Trust between citizens and authorities began to fray, adding another layer of chaos to an already volatile situation. As night fell, the alien ships illuminated the darkness with soft, ethereal glows. Their presence cast long shadows over cities and towns, a constant reminder of how powerless humanity truly was. Despite the overwhelming odds, however, hope lingered. Across continents, people came together, united by a shared sense of wonder and determination. Strangers exchanged stories, families prayed for guidance, and communities organized relief efforts for those struggling to cope with the crisis. In Seabrook, Dr. Hayes continued her observations, refusing to leave her post. Even as exhaustion set in, she felt a strange mix of terror and awe, knowing she was witnessing history unfold. Every detail mattered, every flicker of light, every shift in position. Somewhere in the data she collected lay clues to understanding why the aliens had come and what they wanted. And though the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on her shoulders, she vowed to keep searching for answers. Because somewhere deep inside, she believed that humanity's fate depended on it. The stage was set. The players were ready. All that remained was to see how this cosmic drama would play out, and whether Earth's fragile civilization could withstand the storm brewing beyond its atmosphere. As the alien fleet hung ominously in the sky, humanity found itself teetering on the edge of panic and curiosity. The world had never been more divided, or more united, than it was now. Nations scrambled to coordinate responses while ordinary people grappled with their emotions. Some prayed for salvation, others prepared for war, but everyone shared one undeniable truth. Life as they knew it would never be the same. In Seabrook, Dr. Samantha Hayes barely slept. Her eyes were glued to her telescope, recording every movement of the alien ships. She noticed subtle changes in their positions, almost as if they were testing Earth's defenses. Occasionally, smaller vessels detached from the larger motherships, descending closer to the atmosphere before retreating again. It felt like a game of cat and mouse, except no one knew who the predator was, or what rules governed this strange encounter. Meanwhile, Alex Rivera and Mia Chen stayed on the rooftop of their Chicago apartment building, unwilling to miss a single moment of the unfolding spectacle. Over the past few hours, they had joined an online forum dedicated to tracking the aliens' movements. Thousands of users contributed observations, theories, and even sketches of the ships based on photos and videos taken worldwide. One user, posted a grainy image claiming to show humanoid figures walking along the hull of one of the ships. Another claimed to have intercepted a signal, a series of rhythmic pulses that could be interpreted as a form of communication. The internet buzzed with excitement and fear, each post fueling the fire of speculation. But not everyone reacted with wonder. In Moscow, riots broke out as crowds demanded answers from their government. Protesters carried signs reading, "Tell us the truth," and "Are we safe?" Soldiers lined the streets, maintaining order but unable to quell the growing unrest. Similar scenes unfolded in Paris, New Delhi, and Rio de Janeiro. People wanted transparency, and when none came, frustration boiled over into chaos. Governments issued statements urging calm, but trust between leaders and citizens eroded with each passing hour. Amid the global turmoil, President Eleanor Grayson convened a secret meeting with top military officials and scientists at the White House Situation Room. Around the table sat General Marcus Reed, head of the U.S. Space Command, Dr. Evelyn Park, a leading astrobiologist, and several intelligence analysts poring over classified documents. The mood was tense, the air thick with tension. "We've analyzed their energy signatures," said Dr. Park, pointing to a holographic display of one of the alien ships. "Based on our data, these vessels are powered by technology far beyond anything we've ever seen. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done so already." General Reed leaned forward, his face grim. "That doesn't mean they won't try. We need to assume hostile intent until proven otherwise." President Grayson nodded thoughtfully. "Agreed. But we also can't afford to act rashly. Any misstep could escalate this situation exponentially. For now, let's focus on gathering intelligence." "What about Project Horizon? Is it operational?" No. Park hesitated. "Project Horizon is complicated. It involves reverse-engineered alien technology recovered from Roswell decades ago. While we've made significant progress, the systems aren't fully tested. Activating them prematurely could backfire." The room fell silent. Project Horizon referred to Earth's most closely guarded secret: star destroyers. Hidden deep within underground bunkers and orbital stations, these massive ships were humanity's last line of defense against extraterrestrial threats. Built using advanced alien tech discovered during the infamous 1947 Roswell incident, the star destroyers represented humanity's greatest achievement and its darkest gamble. No one outside the highest levels of government even knew they existed. Back in Seabrook, Dr. Hayes noticed something peculiar. The alien ships seemed to emit low-frequency vibrations that resonated through the ground. At first, she dismissed it as a side effect of their propulsion systems, but when local residents reported headaches and nausea, she realized the vibrations might serve a purpose: to weaken Earth's defenses or destabilize human infrastructure. Whatever the aliens' intentions, they clearly weren't here for a friendly visit. Her suspicions deepened when reports emerged of sudden power outages across major cities. In New York, Times Square went dark, plunging the iconic district into shadow. Tokyo experienced rolling blackouts, leaving millions without electricity. Even remote villages in Africa and South America reported disruptions to their grids. Conspiracy theorists linked the outages to the alien ships, claiming they were draining Earth's resources. Scientists struggled to explain the phenomenon. But one thing became clear: the aliens were probing humanity's vulnerabilities. As night fell once more, the alien ships began emitting beams of light that pierced through clouds and illuminated entire regions. These lights didn't harm anyone directly, but they created an eerie sense of surveillance, as though the aliens were scanning every inch of the planet. People hid indoors, drawing curtains and turning off lights to avoid detection. Social media posts described the beams as spotlights of doom, casting long shadows that danced eerily on walls. Despite the fear gripping the globe, acts of kindness and solidarity began to emerge. In Los Angeles, volunteers handed out food and blankets to homeless shelters overwhelmed by the influx of frightened citizens seeking refuge. In Mumbai, neighbors banded together to protect local markets from looters. And in London, musicians organized impromptu concerts in Trafalgar Square, playing uplifting melodies to lift spirits. Humanity's resilience shone brightly, even in the face of uncertainty. In Chicago, Alex and Mia decided to take action. They joined a community effort to document the alien presence, uploading videos and photos to a shared database accessible to researchers worldwide. Their contributions caught the attention of Dr. Hayes, who reached out to thank them personally. "You're doing important work," she told them during a video call. "Every piece of information helps us understand what we're dealing with." Encouraged by her words, Alex and Mia redoubled their efforts. They spent hours analyzing patterns in the aliens' movements, looking for clues about their next move. Late one night, Mia spotted something unusual: a faint glow emanating from beneath one of the ships. Zooming in with her camera, she realized it wasn't just a reflection. It was a hatch opening. A smaller craft emerged, descending rapidly toward Earth's surface. "Alex, look," she whispered urgently, nudging him awake. Together they watched as the craft touched down in a nearby field, its engines humming softly. Without hesitation, they grabbed flashlights and bolted downstairs, determined to investigate. As they approached the landing site, their hearts raced with anticipation and fear. What awaited them inside the alien ship? The answer came sooner than expected. Before they could get close, a group of soldiers appeared surrounding the craft, with weapons drawn. "Stay back," one of them shouted, motioning for Alex and Mia to retreat. Reluctantly, they obeyed, watching from a distance as the soldiers secured the area. Moments later, a figure stepped out of the craft. Not an alien, but a human wearing a futuristic suit adorned with glowing symbols. "What is this?" Mia murmured, clutching Alex's arm. He shook his head, equally baffled. The man raised his hands in a gesture of peace, speaking in a language neither of them understood. A translator device on his wrist crackled to life, translating his words into English. "We are here to negotiate," he said calmly, "but time is short." The revelation sent shockwaves through the crowd. Negotiations? With humans? How was that possible? Questions swirled in Alex and Mia's minds as they retreated home, eager to share what they'd witnessed. Little did they know, their discovery would spark a chain reaction that would alter the course of history. While humanity grappled with the implications of the alien negotiators' arrival, the skies above continued to churn with activity. The alien fleet remained poised, waiting for the outcome of this unprecedented encounter. Would diplomacy prevail, or would conflict erupt? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain: Earth stood on the brink of a new era, shaped by forces both human and extraterrestrial. The appearance of the alien negotiator sent shockwaves through humanity. News of the encounter between Alex, Mia, and the mysterious figure in the futuristic suit spread like wildfire. Within hours, it dominated headlines worldwide. Governments scrambled to verify the authenticity of the reports, while citizens debated whether this was a genuine attempt at communication or a clever deception. For many, hope flickered anew. Perhaps the aliens weren't here to conquer, but to coexist. In Chicago, Alex and Mia found themselves thrust into the spotlight. Their eyewitness account became the centerpiece of global discussions about the alien presence. Reporters camped outside their apartment building, eager for interviews, but military officials quickly intervened. A convoy of black SUVs arrived, whisking the pair away to a secure facility where they were debriefed by intelligence agents. Despite their initial apprehension, Alex and Mia cooperated fully, recounting every detail of their encounter with the negotiator. Meanwhile, the negotiator himself, later identified as Commander Veyron, was transported to a high-security command center in Geneva. Representatives from the United Nations, along with top scientists and military leaders, gathered to meet him face-to-face. The atmosphere was tense, yet electric. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries: first contact with intelligent, extraterrestrial life. But now that it had arrived, no one knew what to expect or how to proceed. Commander Veyron stood tall, his sleek suit shimmering faintly under the harsh fluorescent lights. Though humanoid in appearance, his features were distinctly alien: sharp cheekbones, luminous blue eyes, and skin that seemed to ripple subtly as though alive. He spoke slowly, his voice modulated through a translator device on his wrist. "We are the Krillian Collective," he began, his tone calm but firm. "Our mission is to assess threats posed by emerging civilizations." His words hung heavy, in the air. Threats? Was Earth considered dangerous? General Marcus Reed leaned forward, his expression unreadable. "What kind of threat do you perceive?" he asked pointedly. Veyron hesitated before responding. "Your rapid technological advancement has destabilized our cloaking systems. We observed your experiments with quantum energy fields, which disrupted our ability to remain undetected. This breach forced us to reveal ourselves prematurely." Dr. Evelyn Park, seated nearby, furrowed her brow. "You've been watching us?" she asked incredulously. "For decades," Veyron confirmed. "Initially, we deemed your species primitive and non-threatening. However, recent developments have raised concerns. Your capacity for destruction rivals even advanced civilizations. We must determine if you pose a risk to galactic stability." The room erupted into murmurs. Humanity's achievements, nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, space exploration, were now being scrutinized not just by fellow humans but by an interstellar empire. Some delegates bristled at the implication that Earth was a potential menace, while others recognized the gravity of the situation. If the Krillian Collective viewed humanity as unstable, the consequences could be catastrophic. President Eleanor Grayson stepped forward, her voice steady despite the mounting tension. "Commander Veyron, we understand your concerns, but we assure you humanity seeks only peace and progress. We are capable of cooperation, not conflict." Veyron tilted his head slightly, studying her intently. "Your actions will speak louder than words," he replied cryptically. "For now, we require proof of your intentions. Until then, our fleet remains vigilant." As negotiations continued, Dr. Samantha Hayes and Seabrook worked tirelessly to piece together the bigger picture. She analyzed data collected during the past days, cross-referencing patterns in the alien ship's movements with seismic activity and electromagnetic disturbances. What she discovered chilled her to the bone. The vibrations emitted by the ships weren't random. They were targeting specific locations around the globe. These areas corresponded to sites housing Earth's most classified projects, including underground bunkers storing nuclear arsenals and experimental weaponry. Her findings reached President Grayson's desk late that evening. The implications were staggering. The aliens weren't merely observing, they were mapping Earth's defenses, identifying weak points to exploit if necessary. Humanity's window of opportunity to prove itself was closing fast. Back in Geneva, tensions escalated when a second alien envoy arrived unexpectedly. Unlike Veyron, this individual radiated hostility. His armor gleamed menacingly and his posture exuded aggression. He introduced himself as Warlord Zynar, leader of the Krillian Collective's military wing. "Enough talk," he growled, his voice booming through the translator. "Show us your true strength or face annihilation." General Reed clenched his fists beneath the table, his instincts screaming to retaliate. But President Grayson maintained composure, refusing to let fear dictate her response. "Warlord Zynar, we are prepared to defend ourselves if provoked," she said firmly. "But we believe dialogue offers a better path forward." Zynar sneered, clearly unimpressed. "Defense implies weakness. Prove otherwise." It was then that Dr. Park made a bold suggestion. "Perhaps a demonstration would ease their concerns," she whispered to President Grayson. After a brief pause, the president nodded. Turning back to the envoys, she addressed them directly. "If proof of our capabilities is what you seek, we will provide it. But know this: our intent is not aggression, it is assurance." Hours later, under the cover of darkness, humanity unveiled its ace in the hole. Deep within a secret orbital station, engineers activated Project Horizon. Massive star destroyers emerged from hidden compartments, their sleek designs blending seamlessly with the night sky. Powered by reverse-engineered alien technology, these vessels dwarfed even the largest Krillian ships. Equipped with plasma, cannons, energy shields, and quantum propulsion systems, They represented humanity's ultimate deterrent. When the Star Destroyers revealed themselves, the effect was immediate and terrifying. The alien fleet reacted with alarm, their previously stoic demeanor giving way to visible panic. Ships shifted positions nervously, scanning the new arrivals with heightened intensity. Even Veyron and Zynar exchanged uneasy glances, their confidence shaken. In Seabrook, Dr. Hayes watched the spectacle unfold with a mix of pride and dread. Humanity had gambled everything on this moment, betting that the element of surprise would tip the scales in their favor. But she couldn't shake the nagging question. Had they gone too far? Would the aliens see this display as a gesture of strength or an act of war? News of the Star Destroyers spread instantly, sparking mixed reactions across the globe. Some celebrated the revelation, hailing it as evidence of humanity's ingenuity and resilience. Others feared retaliation, convinced that showing such power would provoke the aliens into attacking. Social media buzzed with conflicting opinions, each side arguing passionately for their perspective. Alex and Mia, still confined to the secure facility, watched the events unfold on a live feed. "Do you think they'll attack?" Mia asked, quietly, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Alex admitted. "But either way, things are about to get real messy." Back in Geneva, negotiations reached a critical juncture. Veyron studied the Star Destroyers intently, his expression unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "Impressive," he acknowledged grudgingly. "You have exceeded our expectations. Perhaps there is merit to your claims of peaceful coexistence." Zynar, however, remained unconvinced. "Strength alone does not guarantee trust," he snarled. "Actions define character. We shall see if yours aligns with your words." With that ominous warning, the envoys departed, returning to their fleet. Humanity held its breath, unsure of what came next. Had they succeeded in proving themselves? Or had they inadvertently sealed their doom? As dawn broke over Earth, the alien ships remained suspended in orbit, their glowing hulls casting long shadows across the planet below. The standoff continued, a fragile balance teetering on the edge of uncertainty. One thing was clear: humanity's fate now rested not just on its technology, but on its ability to forge understanding in the face of fear. The days following the unveiling of Earth's Star Destroyers were some of the most nerve-wracking in human history. The alien fleet remained ominously silent, their ships hovering motionless in orbit like colossal sentinels. Humanity waited, with bated breath, unsure whether the display of technological prowess would lead to peace or provoke an all-out war. Every passing hour felt like a lifetime, and the tension was palpable. From bustling cities to quiet rural towns, people clung to hope while preparing for the worst. In Geneva, the United Nations convened an emergency summit to discuss next steps. President Eleanor Grayson stood at the forefront, her leadership tested as never before. "We've shown them what we're capable of," she told the assembly. "But strength alone isn't enough. We need to build trust, and quickly." Her words resonated deeply, but achieving that trust seemed impossible. How could humanity convince the Krillian collective that it wasn't a threat? And more importantly, how could they ensure the aliens wouldn't see Earth's defenses as a challenge? Dr. Evelyn Park proposed a daring solution: open communication channels directly with the alien fleet. Using intercepted signals and patterns observed during previous encounters, she believed it might be possible to send a message, not one of aggression, but of cooperation. "We can transmit images, music, scientific achievements, anything that showcases our culture and potential for collaboration," she explained. "If we show them who we are beyond our weapons, maybe they'll understand we're worth preserving." General Marcus Reed balked at the idea. "Are you suggesting we broadcast our weaknesses?" he demanded. "What if they use this information against us?" "It's a risk we have to take," Dr. Park countered. "Right now, they see us as unpredictable. If we don't act soon, they may decide we're too dangerous to coexist with. This is our chance to change their perception." After hours of heated debate, the decision was made. Engineers worked around the clock to assemble a transmission package, compiling everything from classical symphonies to satellite images of Earth's natural wonders. They included footage of everyday life, children playing in parks, families sharing meals, scientists conducting experiments, all designed to convey humanity's complexity and resilience. At its core, the message carried a simple plea: we are not your enemy. Meanwhile, in Seabrook, Dr. Samantha Hayes continued monitoring the alien fleet, analyzing every nuance of their behavior. She noticed subtle changes in their energy signatures, almost as though they were deliberating internally. Were they discussing humanity's message or planning their response? The uncertainty gnawed at her, but she refused to give up. If there was even a slim chance of averting disaster, she intended to seize it. Back in Chicago, Alex and Mia were finally released from the secure facility where they'd been held for questioning. Though grateful for their freedom, they couldn't shake the feeling that they'd become pawns in a much larger game. "Do you think they'll listen?" Mia asked as they walked through the eerily quiet streets. Stores were shuttered, and few people ventured outside, preferring the safety of their homes. "I don't know," Alex admitted. "But I hope so. Otherwise, none of this matters." Unbeknownst to them, their actions had already sparked a ripple effect. Social media users rallied behind their story, calling for unity and compassion in the face of uncertainty. Hashtags like One Earth Strong and Peace Not War trended globally, inspiring millions to come together. Candlelight vigils were held in major cities, with participants singing songs and holding signs bearing messages of hope. Even skeptics found themselves moved by the collective effort, realizing that humanity's greatest strength lay not in its technology but in its capacity for empathy. As the transmission was broadcast into space, the world watched anxiously for a response. Hours passed with no sign of acknowledgement. Just when despair began to creep in, something extraordinary happened. One of the alien ships, the largest in the fleet, emitted a series of pulsating lights. These lights formed intricate patterns, resembling symbols rather than random flashes. Scientists scrambled to decode the sequence, eventually determining it was a reply. "They're trying to communicate," Dr. Hayes exclaimed, her voice trembling with excitement. "This could be it, the breakthrough we've been waiting for." The decoded message revealed both curiosity and caution. "Your demonstration intrigues us," it read. "Yet questions remain. Why does your species pursue such rapid advancement without regard for consequences? How do you reconcile creation with destruction?" The question struck a chord, forcing humanity to confront uncomfortable truths about itself. In boardrooms and living rooms alike, discussions erupted about progress versus responsibility. Some argued that innovation was essential for survival, while others insisted it came at too great a cost. Amid the debates, one thing became clear. If humanity hoped to earn the aliens' trust, it needed to demonstrate not just its capabilities, but also its willingness to grow. President Grayson addressed the nation once more, her tone reflective, yet resolute. "The Krillian Collective has challenged us to look inward, to examine who we are and who we want to become. This is not just about proving ourselves to them, it's about proving ourselves to each other. Let us rise to the occasion, not with fear, but with courage and integrity." Inspired by her words, communities worldwide embarked on initiatives aimed at showcasing humanity's better nature. Artists created murals depicting unity and diversity. Schools organized projects highlighting environmental conservation and social justice. Even corporations pledged to prioritize sustainability over profit. Slowly but surely, humanity began transforming, not because it feared annihilation, but because it yearned for connection. In Geneva, negotiations resumed under unprecedented circumstances. Commander Veyron returned, accompanied by several members of his delegation. For the first time, they expressed genuine interest in learning about Earth's culture and values. Meetings stretched late into the night as representatives shared stories, traditions, and aspirations. Despite vast differences, moments of understanding emerged, bridging gaps that once seemed insurmountable. Warlord Zynar, however, remained skeptical. During one particularly tense session, He demanded proof of humanity's commitment to change. "Words mean little without action," he declared. "Show us tangible evidence of your intentions." To meet his challenge, Earth's leaders unveiled plans for a joint venture, a collaborative project combining human ingenuity with alien technology to address global crises like climate change and resource scarcity. The proposal stunned everyone, including Zynar. While he stopped short of endorsing it outright, his skepticism softened slightly, hinting at a shift in perspective. As days turned into weeks, the alien fleet began retreating incrementally, signaling a reduction in hostilities. Their ships maintained a presence in orbit but refrained from aggressive maneuvers. It was a tentative truce, one built on fragile foundations, but a truce nonetheless. For Dr. Hayes, Alex, Mia, and countless others, the journey had been harrowing yet transformative. They had faced unimaginable challenges, only to discover strengths they never knew they possessed. Through fear and uncertainty, humanity had chosen hope, not because it guaranteed success, but because it offered a path forward. And so, as the skies above Earth began to clear, revealing stars once hidden by alien ships, a new chapter unfolded. One marked not by conquest or conflict, but by the promise of mutual understanding. Whether this fragile alliance would endure remained uncertain, but for the first time in what felt like forever, the future looked less daunting, and infinitely brighter. The fragile truce between humanity and the Krillian Collective marked the beginning of a new era, one filled with cautious optimism, shared challenges, and the daunting task of forging a relationship across galaxies. While the alien fleet remained in orbit, their presence no longer inspired fear but instead sparked curiosity and collaboration. People around the world began adapting to this surreal reality, finding ways to coexist with beings whose existence had once seemed like science fiction. In Geneva, negotiations entered a new phase. Commander Veyron and his delegation continued engaging with human representatives, exchanging knowledge and exploring possibilities for cooperation. These meetings were far from smooth. Cultural differences often led to misunderstandings, and mistrust lingered beneath polite exchanges. Yet progress was undeniable. For every tense standoff, there were moments of genuine connection, shared laughter over misinterpreted gestures, admiration for each other's achievements, and mutual respect slowly taking root. One breakthrough came when scientists from both sides collaborated on a groundbreaking project, developing technology to clean Earth's oceans. Using advanced filtration systems provided by the Krillian Collective, combined with humanity's expertise in engineering, they created machines capable of removing plastic waste and toxins at unprecedented speeds. The initiative not only addressed one of Earth's most pressing environmental crises, but also demonstrated the potential of interspecies teamwork. Beaches that had been littered for decades transformed into pristine havens within months, inspiring hope for what could be achieved together. Meanwhile, Warlord Zynar remained a constant source of tension. Though he softened slightly after witnessing humanity's efforts to prove its worth, his skepticism persisted. During one heated session, he challenged President Eleanor Grayson directly. "Your species speaks of unity, yet you cannot even unite among yourselves," he said bluntly. "How can we trust you to honor agreements when your own governments struggle to cooperate?" His words struck a nerve, forcing leaders to confront uncomfortable truths about political divisions and conflicting interests. In response, President Grayson proposed an ambitious plan, forming a global unity council, a coalition of nations tasked with overseeing all interactions with the Krillian Collective. This council would operate independently of individual governments, ensuring decisions were made with the collective good in mind, rather than national agendas. The proposal faced resistance, particularly from countries wary of relinquishing sovereignty. However, public support tipped the scales. Ordinary citizens rallied behind the idea, organizing petitions and protests demanding action. "We've seen what happens when we work together," read one banner held aloft during a massive demonstration in New York City. "Let's keep moving forward." With the Global Unity Council established, humanity took another step toward proving itself worthy of trust. Its first major decision was to invite the Krelian Collective to participate in a joint mission to explore Mars. The Red Planet had long fascinated humans, and now, with alien technology augmenting Earth's capabilities, it became a symbol of shared ambition. Engineers and astronauts trained alongside their extraterrestrial counterparts, learning to navigate cultural nuances while preparing for the historic journey. Back in Seabrook, Dr. Samantha Hayes played a pivotal role in facilitating communication between species. Her observatory became a hub for linguistic research, where experts worked tirelessly to decode the Krelian language and develop tools for seamless interaction. One evening, as she reviewed data late into the night, she received an unexpected visitor. It was Commander Veyron, accompanied by 2 members of his delegation. They requested a private meeting, their expressions unreadable. Curious, yet nervous, Dr. Hayes welcomed them inside. After exchanging pleasantries, Veyron got straight to the point. "Dr. Hayes, we have observed your dedication to understanding us," he began. "It is admirable. We wish to repay your efforts by sharing something significant." He gestured to one of his companions, who produced a small device resembling a crystalline orb. Placing it on the table, Veyron explained its purpose. "This contains knowledge, scientific principles, medical advancements, insights into energy, manipulation. Consider it a gesture of goodwill." Dr. Hayes stared at the orb, stunned. Such a gift represented unparalleled opportunity, but also immense responsibility. "Why are you giving this to me?" she asked cautiously. "Because you understand the value of knowledge," Veyron replied. "Use it wisely." The implications of the gift reverberated globally. Scientists marveled at the wealth of information contained within the orb, which promised breakthroughs in fields ranging from medicine to renewable energy. Critics warned of potential dangers, fearing misuse or unintended consequences. But ultimately, the consensus was clear. This was a chance to elevate humanity, not just technologically, but morally. As weeks turned into months, the partnership between Earth and the Krelian Collective deepened. Joint ventures expanded beyond environmental cleanup and space exploration. Medical teams worked together to combat diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Architects designed sustainable cities using alien blueprints, creating urban landscapes that blended functionality with beauty. Even artists found inspiration in the fusion of human creativity and alien aesthetics, producing works that celebrated diversity and interconnectedness. For Alex Rivera and Mia Chen, life returned to some semblance of normalcy, or as close to normal as possible under the circumstances. Their brush with alien diplomacy thrust them into the spotlight, earning them invitations to speak at conferences and universities worldwide. Though initially overwhelmed, they embraced the opportunity to share their experiences and advocate for unity. "We're all part of something bigger than ourselves," Alex told an audience during one such event. "And if we can remember that, anything is possible." Mia added, "Fear divides us, but curiosity brings us together. Let's choose curiosity." Their message resonated deeply, inspiring countless individuals to embrace change rather than resist it. From classrooms to corporate boardrooms, people adopted a mindset of openness and collaboration, driven by the belief that humanity's future depended on working hand in hand with others, even those unlike themselves. Despite these strides, challenges remained. Not everyone welcomed the Krelian Collective with open arms. Some viewed the aliens as invaders, accusing governments of prioritizing extraterrestrial relations over domestic issues. Isolated incidents of violence occurred, fueled by fear and misinformation. Yet, rather than letting division take hold, communities responded with resilience. Vigils replaced riots, and dialogue replaced hostility. Slowly but surely, dissent gave way to acceptance. In the skies above Earth, the alien ships began dispersing, leaving behind only a few vessels to maintain contact. As the last of the fleet departed, Commander Veyron delivered a final message. "Your journey is just beginning. You have proven yourselves capable of growth and adaptation. Continue down this path and perhaps someday, you will join us among the stars. His words echoed across the globe, sparking dreams of a future where humanity stood shoulder to shoulder with civilizations beyond its own. Children gazed at the stars with newfound wonder, imagining adventures yet to come. Scientists envisioned discoveries waiting to be made, and leaders pledged to uphold the lessons learned during this transformative chapter. As the sun set on a world forever changed, hope burned brighter than ever before. Humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. The road ahead would undoubtedly be fraught with challenges, but armed with courage, compassion, and determination, Earth stood ready to face whatever lay beyond the horizon. And so, under the watchful eyes of the cosmos, a new story began, a tale of two species choosing peace over conflict, curiosity over fear, and cooperation over isolation. Together they proved that even in the vast expanse of the universe, connection was always possible.